All right. Cool. Everybody can hear me. Yeah, mic is good. Cool. Yeah, hopefully I don't sound too sick. Like I said, just had a bit of a cough right now. I just didn't want to miss 2 Zooms in a row. But yeah, let's go and get started with DXY. Blah, blah, blah. So we're pretty much stalling out a bit. This is kind of like the usual thing that happens. We usually see either transitions take a long time, or pretty much the after effect of a big move take its time to then give us something else. Just because we know that we were setting up for just what, like around 15 days just to see the big move to the downside based on the transition that we talked about. And if you even want to stretch it back out to this, the unsubstantial new high, into then that, it took about 18 days for us to see the big bearish move that we were pretty much waiting for or anticipating based on the internal transition. So now these past couple of days, as you can see, has been a bit choppy, a bit, just nothing really too appealing in my eyes. However, now that I'm starting to, see this give us some sort of a pullback, something I want to know. Right, we have taken liquidity from a major intraday. Obviously, we were waiting for the continuation, right, into the downside. That's kind of what we were looking for, I believe, 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. But unfortunately, we didn't make it to the POI that we had wanted. It did hit, however, I think it was like an H8, H12 inefficiency. No, not there. Yeah, about an H12 inefficiency, but it's not really perfect, so I just kind of disregarded it, and it is what it is, move on. So I'm not really too worried about that. However, the bias was correct, and that we can only assume continuation up until we get either an unsubstantial new high or a any type of model in the opposite direction. So just based on what had happened, right, I believe this was Monday. Yeah, Monday. We see an internal liquidity grab with strong momentum, and as you can see right now, there's pretty much only one thing stopping this from giving us a bit higher of pricing, and I would say it's this general area here, where you see potential POI, you see inefficiency as well. So in my opinion, this is the only thing that's kind of holding this back, or holding even this liquidity grab from giving us anything new to the upside. Excuse me. However, right, if we're looking at this now internally, realistically, like the linear approach would be seeing continuation BOS, pretty much bullish invalidation being there, and we're anticipating a move to the upside. So that is kind of possible. I would say it's not the most probable, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because, one, right, we took out a recent high, and this recent high did not create a new substantial high. It was relatively short, and then you can see that internally as well there is something there being taken out. So excuse me, there is a bearish liquidity grab in play. So right now I wouldn't necessarily want to buy anywhere here. I would more so like to see if we could get any type of bullish to bearish transition in this relative inefficiency area of interest. So I'm just going to note that, because this does not look appealing in my opinion towards the upside, because we already gave the transition, right? We gave the continuation BOS, mitigation, new high created no substantial new high based on minor intraday. This would be your scalp, and that minor intraday high was taken and then immediately taken, and then immediately took the previous low, and you could even consider this as well, but this in my opinion is more of a scalp solidified point. So I do want to see what happens here and see if this could potentially give us some downside movement, and how that correlates is, right, we did give the unsubstantial new high. This does not necessarily mean that we will be bullish. This just means, in my opinion, that the immediate continuation based on the unsubstantial new high or low is much less probable than, let's say, for example, if we were to do something like that. And the reason why is because we created an unsubstantial new low, that shows that there is some sort of bullishness holding this back. So because of that, you know, you more so want to wait for excuse me, a bullish to bearish transition internally, right, so that it can support the overall bias. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking at this now. It doesn't seem like this will continue higher. I could be wrong as well, but just because of how this is moving, and I don't really see anything outside of maybe this small POI holding us up. Other than that, I don't really see why this would continue higher. And there is no real true POI that I can see here from an M15. So I do want to see what happens in the shaded area and seeing if that could potentially give us some downside movements. Because that also, I believe, is an H1, yeah, around an H1 inefficiency. So if we stay around here for maybe an hour, a couple hours, and then later on come back to meet inefficiency and then potentially see some lower pricing, you know, that could be pretty intriguing. This goes for AUDUSD as well. This one, I'm still relatively, I'm kind of transitioning over to a bearish bias. And the reason why I'm saying that is, one, we know where we were looking for from an overall time frame or from an overall swing perspective. We know that we were looking for the overall bearish swing to the downside. However, if we're analyzing reactions here, right, we already talked about this, I believe, a week and a half ago. How if we see the continuation BOS, the retracement could come back into the POI. And I believe we might have noted this POI last week. I don't remember exactly. But that doesn't really matter. What matters right now, low, high, retracement, right? This a solidified high because we obviously broke out internal structure here, solidified the low. This high then gave a reaction and the order flow disruption. So technically, because we broke structure, this is a solidified high, and it is technically a type of unwillingness, internal, right? It wouldn't be external until obviously the retracement low is taken. But as of right now, what I'm seeing is, right, I'm seeing a reaction here. If we start to dive deeper, right, also note the engulfing. I like seeing engulfings. However, if we're looking at this now from the internal sense here, right, we did technically fail the immediate continuation. And this is fine. That's fine. The reason why this is fine, in my opinion, is because we did take out, right, this important point of structure. This point of structure led us into obviously the POI high, and then from there that was taken. So a confirmed reaction based on the POI that we just noted. 1, 2, we do have a continuation BOS. But if you guys recall what Dom said a couple of weeks ago, realistically what he likes to see, this would be kind of a general example of that, right? You have your trend, continuation BOS, you realistically still want to sell because it is a continuation BOS. All right, so I guess this is kind of like the type of knowledge / theory that I'm applying here, because if I'm looking at this now from, I think it was M10. Yeah, if we look at this from an M10, there is a POI here that has been tapped, and because if we dive deeper from that, we have the continuation BOS here to the downside based on the POI. In my opinion, this could potentially give us lower pricing, right? Obviously that could change based on, in my opinion, this deep retracement here. However, right now, as of right now, I'm more so favoring that bearish bias, POI, confirmed reaction, right, and continuation. And it might have even already done the retracement, so it could just fall from here. And this is only, in my opinion, makes sense because of the minor intraday being taken, confirming the reaction from the H1 POI, I believe it was. Yeah, H1 POI. So yeah, as of right now, I am kind of leaning towards that bearish side. EURUSD, this one's tricky. Just because I'm kind of seeing the same thing internally as I'm seeing externally. So last week, right, we were a bit concerned because we didn't really want to sell this. We more so wanted to buy down here, right? I don't know if you guys recall that. But now you guys see why I technically didn't really want to sell this. It didn't really make much sense. because you could see that there is a failed sell there. The failed sell led into continuation BOS, right? So now, based on that continuation BOS, we're potentially seeing, right, the flag potentially fail maybe, don't know, but it's kind of the same thing that we're seeing here, where we're seeing a flag potentially fail, and I don't like seeing, or I don't like buying into anything that, you know, gives us a move into the upside, a confirmed reaction, right, based on previous structure point here. You can see also very, very intriguing to see that a failed sale, right, became a new POI, just something to note. But that confirmed reaction immediately failed. So in my opinion, we are probably going to see this come down a bit lower, whether it's here or whether it's more so up here. I do see this still continuing lower just because of the failed reaction here. That's pretty much the only thing keeping me from, you know, any type of bullish bias right now. Gold, this one's another weird one. Same thing with DXY, I mean with EU, because we know that we were anticipating, right, the retracement into turbulence point and then continue higher. But what I don't like to see is, right, technically we are looking at a low high retracement. That retracement has been solidified here based on the continuation BOS. So now because that has tried to continue higher and that failed, as you can see here, based on the internal liquidity grab, this one, in my opinion, could also see a bit lower, only unless we stay below the bearish invalidation, which would be up here. So just because of the internal reaction right now, I don't really like seeing this because it did give a continuation POS to the downside and then it failed. So you can see a bullish move. So this is technically bullish, but everything can obviously change, right? If the liquidity is taken, because technically from a scalp, it is, you can see that there is a POI relative area of interest there. So low, high retracement, continuation to the upside just from the internal pullback here. So after the blue line is taken, you could maybe even see some sort of POI be tapped and seeing that come lower. And the only reason why I'm wanting to assume that is because of the failed move here, right? The high being taken and that solidifying the low, and then that eventually failing. Excuse me. But yeah, after this blue line, I do want to see what can potentially happen. And still maybe favoring that downside unless we obviously reach the bearish invalidation. Last one, US 30. I do not like this one at all. I was looking at this morning. I'm not bullish on this at all, if I'm being honest, as of right now. I'm not even bearish on it. I'm just kind of just uncertain with it. Because if I'm looking at this, right, structural point, and I would consider this the bullish invalidation. Because we're seeing this relative area of interest right now, this would be the only thing holding it up from, you know, just exploding to the upside. But what I don't like to see is liquidity is met and then unsubstantial new high. So you would realistically need some sort of, you know, important, significant bullish transition to then give this a go to the upside. And this one, I would more than likely be much more conservative, because even if we see the continuation BOS to the upside, it is in alignment with the minor intraday, but you could obviously still see this continue lower based on a, you know, this POI up here. So this is just one I'm not really certain with, but I do want to see what can happen from, right, this POI into this POI, and then seeing if this will sustain itself or if it will break. But yeah, I'm not too certain on a bias on this one right now. As you can see, that POI failed reaction technically is order flow disruption as well, but this one's just not really looking too appealing in my eyes. But yeah, does anybody have any questions, concerns? That's probably all I got for today. See how many people we got on 7. What do you see on GU? I don't trade GU, bro. What do you see on GU? Still see bullish overall. Still bullish bias. Yeah, any questions, guys? Or anything you guys want to cover? Do have like a couple of minutes to spare. You see, I don't like this for the bullish. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, actually. This looks bearish in my opinion. Bearish unless you take this out. Take that out, then you're bullish. But other than that, I would say you're more so bearish. Yeah, yeah. Bearish invalidation, bearish continuation. And this, I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too worried about this unless this is taken. Because I do see the bullish LG right here. Bullish LG. Take out liquidity, POI, continuation BOS. That is technically a move to the upside. But I'm still not really too worried. Yeah, that's obviously the internal move. Yeah, that's obviously here. But it broke even. So I'm not too worried about whatever this is needed for this to pull back. That's the pullback. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. But yeah, I do want to see what happens here though. Because this 15-minute closure does not look good. Like this isn't looking too well. Yeah, 50%. You'll know in like the next 10-15 minutes maybe. But yeah, does anybody have any questions, or else we can end it off here? Yeah. You see, partials, but in my opinion, you should be closing here no later than here. You should be closing. You shouldn't be holding to break even. Because this is supporting bearish bias. So no later than here, you should be closing all the way. Yeah, also, let me see. Don't forget to buy this, right? Even if you don't use our affiliate code, whatever, I don't care. You guys have to, if this is probably the best time to purchase any type of TradingView Pro. This is the only time of the year I ever pay for it, because I'm not paying $700 for that shit. And it's cool because you get a year plus a month, so mine doesn't it doesn't expire till like 2024. Yeah, make sure you guys buy this, because I don't see why you should wait outside of this period. Every year I always buy it at this time, and it ends in 15 hours. So if you want to use our affiliate code, cool. If not, make sure you purchase. Definitely make sure you guys purchase. Cool, but does anyone have any more questions? Anything they want to show? Awesome. It's good talking to you. Cool. Yeah, what's up? Someone is asking something? 1 second. I might not have my hold on. Don't think I have my speaker on. 1 second. All right, now you can say something, I think. Let me see. Let me just make sure the audio is. Audio setting. Okay, try again. Sorry about that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I took a trade today on GU, and it won't like I lost it. But can we like go over the trade and tell you what I felt and then like what I did wrong, or is there something I'm missing?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
No, we cannot. I told you follow the process, brother. You have to wait the 6 to 8 weeks. And yeah, I keep telling you this, but please keep following the process. And once that's done, then you can ask me whatever you want, but you have to follow that. Everybody in this call followed that same thing.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because I know I recognize your name, but yeah, man, please just wait. It's been what, 3.5 weeks? Yeah, just wait the 6 to 8 weeks, please.
I will wait.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Anybody in here that is not new? Alrighty then. I guess we can end it off here. But yeah, it's good talking to you guys. We'll definitely talk soon. I'll see you guys on Friday. Hopefully I'm feeling way better. But yeah, you guys have a great week, and we'll catch up on Friday.